So thanks a lot for this invitation. My name is Gabriel Magdalon, Director of Utility Business in JA, Latin America. So, well, I will try to be quick here as we have just 20 minutes. So I will present a little bit about JA Solar and also give some overview about the main markets in Latin America, as Angel just did, but I'll try to focus in other information. So JA is a Chinese company founded in 2005. It's listed in Nasdaq and Shenzhen stock. Nowadays, we have more than 30,000 employees. Last year, the revenue was more than 70 billion RMB, which is around 10 billion US dollars. We have shipped more than 140 gigawatt accumulative, and we have we done business with more than 135 countries, counting with market share around 17%. So, well, we are a very big company. We are AAA, based on PV Tech analysis, 100% bankable according to Bloomberg. And it's a company that also has the whole supply chain of the module. So since the ingot to the module, so we have a very good control in terms of quality and cost. Yeah, basically that we have a big team in Latin America. So anyone that need some support in terms of module, you can contact anyone from our team there, or for utility and also for DG market. So a little bit of the market overview. Andrew already did it. So Latin America accounts from Mexico to the south of South America. It's already a very important market in the PV industry. So from 2021 to 2023, the total region imported more than 46 gigawatt of modules. So it's one of the main regions worldwide, and Brazil counting as the main market in the region, counting with around 70% of the market share. Also, Chile, Colombia, and Mexico are also very important markets here. So I will talk a little bit more about Brazil. So Brazilian market, well, it started around 2012 with the regulation of DG market. Nowadays, we have connected to the grid something around 19 gigawatts, mainly from distributed generation, counting with around 68%. And the rest counting for utility scale. As in utility scale, we have two possibilities. We have the bid auctions, mainly organized by ANEEL, so it's public bid auctions. And also now it's become more popular, the free energy market, so private PPAs with big off-takers or even selling the energy directly to the free market. So it's also becoming more popular in Brazil. And in the right side, you can see the Brazilian electricity matrix. So nowadays we have around 200 gigawatts of capacity. Our main source is still the hydropower, which is nowadays more than it's around 53%, but it was around 80% like 20 years ago. So we are diversifying our sources, and solar PV is already like the third biggest energy source, and it will probably become the second biggest one in a very short term, surpassing also wind power. For DG market, DG market has increased really fast in the last years, the regulatory is very positive and motivate the installations, and the residential consumers is the represent around 56% of the installed capacity in Brazil. And just to have an idea, this counts only for 1.2 million residential consumers. And in Brazil, we have something around 78 million residential consumers. So we just installed it around 2% of the potential market in residential. So we have a big room to improve it and to increase for the next years the installation for residential, and also CNI, and also utility. So Brazil is already a big market, but it also has a big potential to increase even more. This year is a quite challenging year, mainly due to like the high interest rate of the country. So to get finance for the projects is getting hard, and so this year is a very challenging year. But anyway, we have a very optimistic scenario for the next years. And that, as Angel also mentioned, last year the regulation had modification. So from 2023 to 2029, the energy that we send to the grid, we start to have some taxation. So it will increase year by year from 2023 to 2028. So in 2022, to give you also some numbers, they start to charge 15% of the fuel bill, which is around 28% of the energy tariff on the energy that you send to the grid. Because till last year, it was, for example, if you send 1 kilowatt hour to the grid, you receive back 1 kilowatt hour. Now, 1 kilowatt hour, they will tax this 15% of the 20%, 28% of the energy tariff, and it will increase step by step. So there will be a impact, of course, in the returns of the investment. But anyway, well, historically, the energy price increased more than inflation in Brazil, and also the capex of the products are decreasing. So maybe it can balance, this taxation. And in utility market, well, we have something around 6 gigawatt in operation, and more 5 gigawatts in construction. This data is from the end of last year, so we may have some change here. And one good sign for the utility business that from next year, all the medium and high voltage consumers, they will be able to choose their energy supplier. And it's expected that by 2028, even the residential consumers will be able to choose the energy supplier, which is very positive for solar, as solar is, let's say, one of the most competitive energy source nowadays. So it will also bring new opportunities in the solar business. So as the same as DG, also this year is quite challenging for utility business, mainly due to the interest rate, which is quite high. And actually the spot market price is very low because we depend a lot on the hydropower energy, and it rained a lot last year and beginning of this year. So the spot price in Brazil is in the floor, so it's very low. So usually, like the off-taker, it's more resistant to make long-term PPAs because they are buying the energy at a very low price right now. So I will talk also a little bit about Chile. So Chile, by 2022, Chile reached 7 gigawatts of installed capacity, which counts for more or less 17% of all generation. So they have already a lot of energy in their energy metrics, which is mainly coming from the utility segment. So DG just have something around 170 megawatts installed in the rooftops. And the main challenge in Chile right now is the transmission lines. So they are planning to have some expansion in the transmission line by 2030, but until 2030 they have many challenges and limited capacity to add more projects in the transmission line. So it's also now in Chile it's becoming more popular, like the storage solutions. They are also looking for green hydrogen solution to overcome this transmission line issues. So this is in Chile, this is the situation right now. In Chile, well, as I mentioned, it's a very mature country in terms for PV industry. So well, there's some challenge, but I think also the future is optimistic. For Colombia, Well, Colombia nowadays have a small capacity installed in the grid, so something around 270 megawatts, which represent 1.5% of their energy matrix. But it's expected that by next year's, they'll have a huge investment in solar and also wind projects. So they expect to have something around 9 gigawatts by 2026 of solar and 2.5 gigawatts in the wind power. So the end of this year, beginning of the next one, they say this should be the turning point of Colombian PV industry. So they expect to have something about 2.7 gigawatt of new PV projects connected to the grid, which represent around $3 billion of investments. Well, the investors are coming to Colombia, as Colombia has a big land, like it's a big country. They have a lot of radiation and a lot of wind. So yeah, it's starting the PV industry here, the PV market, but it's expected to be a very important market in Latin America in a very short term. In Mexico used to be one of the main market in the PV industry in Latin America until 2018. And unfortunately, the utility business there, it's becoming more slow. So they're decreasing. They're not increasing the rate of installations since 2019. But at least, the DG market is still growing. So by 2020, from 2021 to 2022, the DG market increased around 25%, which is a good sign. And they have already reached 9.3 gigawatt already installed. And let's see, there are main challenges, it depends on the government policy and regulation. But if Mexico wants to achieve their goal by 2030, they would need to install around 2.5 gigawatts per year starting 2023. So hopefully the government will also give some incentives to the country to attract more investors and start again, the solar industry there. So the final consideration, as I mentioned, like LATAM is a very important market. And Brazil it belongs to the top 5 countries worldwide in terms of new capacity installation in the last years. There are some challenges in Latin America. So usually we are facing a high interest rate in many of the countries, which makes more difficult to get finance and to make the project feasible. As I also mentioned, most of the countries they rely on the hydropower energy. So as it rained a lot, like last year and this year, the energy price in the spot market is quite low, which makes also it's another challenge also for signing private PPAs in the short, long, medium, long term. But it's expected that next year we will have the El Nino, so maybe it will balance also, and it's expected that the price will increase by next year. So yeah, but anyway, it's a very promising market, and the transmission line infrastructure is a limiting factor in many countries, but it also gives the opportunity for storage and green hydrogen solutions. So yeah, it's also becoming popular in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and other countries, the green hydrogen and storage projects. So this is just a few examples of some projects we have done in Brazil. One big project in Brazil in 2017, Ituverava project, also in Mexico and Chile. Also another big project in Mexico of almost 200 megawatts. In Dominican Republic, in Guatemala. So we are we have presence in all the main countries. So, well, anything you need, thanks a lot for this time. This is my contact. If anyone need any support, you can contact me, and it will be a pleasure to support you. Thank you.